Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the very first NS9 Postgame Show powered by Primanti Brothers of 2025. I, of course, am your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Jim Rosati. Jim, no sandwiches today. Boom. That's that. You look sad.
I'm disgusted. What a disgusting way to start the season.
Well, yeah. No free sandwiches today. We tried. I thought we were for a second. The Pirates are up. They're up. They had 4 runs. It was looking good. Paul Skenes is out there cruising. Offense was actually coming around in like key moments. And then it just all fell apart. The Pirates relievers couldn't find strikes. The Pirates defenders didn't know how to play baseball anymore. The Pirates catchers couldn't catch baseballs anymore. And I mean, again, this team, 11 strikeouts on the day offensively. Just it was just like your typical fashion Pittsburgh Pirates team under Ben Cherington. And I just say that because, I mean, defensively, this looked like a terrible game again. Just like the small things, the little things, the things like just do the correct things, do things right. They just can't do those.
Passed ball, error, throwing home when you shouldn't. I don't know what was going on there in the 9th inning with Cruz on that fly ball. Like, just it was terrible. A pathetic display of baseball today. Like, and this is just it's the same stuff we've been seeing for so long. It's just bad fundamentals. Like, this team's just. It was just bad baseball today. All around. The pitching staff, 7 walks. Dennis Santana comes in to relieve Paul Skenes, who Skenes had a great outing. I thought, I think he could have maybe been a little bit more efficient, but like overall, you got to be pretty happy with what you saw from Skenes. Santana comes in, walks 2 batters. Holderman blowing that lead in the 8th inning, just walking people. And then in the 9th inning, like, you give up a quote unquote triple to a catcher who, I don't know, Nick Fortes probably has a sprint speed of 2 percentile in Major League Baseball. I don't know what Oneil Cruz was doing on that ball. It looked like he had a read on it, and then he was like, oh no, this ball is quite a bit farther than I thought, because he was like cruising to that ball. It wasn't like he was sprinting or anything.
It was a kick returner, just like getting a fair catch.
It looked like he was going back to make the catch, and all of a sudden the ball's 10 feet over his head. And then by the time he realizes it, he's too close to the wall. The ball bounces off the wall. It goes by him, and it's a triple. It's a lead. Like, you can't give up leadoff triples when it should have been an out to lead off the 9th in a tie game. It was just, oh God. You look forward to this day so long. It was going well. Like, there was things that I didn't necessarily like about the game, but like, it was going well. The Pirates were winning. It was the 8th inning. You had it lined up the way you wanted to. You got to Alcantara. You chased him early because it was clear that the Pirates were having a problem with him. But yeah, just defensively, I don't know what this team was doing defensively all game long. Ke'Bryan Hayes saved the game the inning before with an insane play at third base to end the 8th. And then it ends like that.
But such is life. Jim, how about this? Before we go any further, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Even if your bracket is busted, BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with a free Sweet 16 bracket and live betting on every remaining tournament game. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to MLB, NHL, and MMA, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. And I'll tell you what, Jim, looking at this game, I would have taken the over on whatever it was for Paul Skenes on strikeouts and whatever it was for Sandy Alcantara's strikeouts. And I mean, they both looked good. They both looked good. Well, I'll put it this way. I mean, they both did look good. Both offenses looked pathetic as well, but they both looked well today. Paul Skenes came out there to start the game. And I mean, like you mentioned, the first inning, I think it was 20 pitches. It wasn't that efficient. That's the one thing. I mean, we're going to be watching that. That's the one thing that Paul said he wants to work on this year. And I'll tell you what, proved correct the reason why you want him to go deeper into games, because this bullpen cannot be trusted. So yeah, like the first inning, I mean, he had the 2 strikeouts to back, but he threw a lot of pitches. He settled down a little bit. I'll say this though too. I mean, bad defense behind him, also part of the reason why some of the innings lasted longer. So again, like the theme of today, just bad defense. I'm an IKF, not being able to make that throw to first early on in this game.
Yeah, that was what was that? Was the third inning IKF. Yeah, and none of those went down as errors.
Right.
But a bad throw by IKF leads to an additional runner that leads to a Marlins run. Yeah, man, it was just a shitty game. Shitty game. But yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah. I mean, like, where do you want to
yeah,
go?
I mean, let's
I just want to highlight
start.
just the defense in total, but
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about this defense, how it frustrated me today. But yeah, I mean, I thought Skenes looked good. He was pounding the strike zone for the most part early on. I think he had a couple issues. You know, once he got to 2 strikes, Miami did a really good job of like fouling off some pitches. Like he wasn't able to put hitters away quite as fast, I think, as he would have liked. And that did lead to the higher pitch counts. I feel like he also settled in a little bit after that first inning. Like he threw a lot of pitches then, but then kind of settled in until that 6th inning, whenever he issued that the walk, the back-to-back walks, right? But I mean, overall, you got to be happy with 5 1/3 innings, 7 strikeouts, 2 runs, and I don't think the second run, you could argue, like if Santana comes in and does his job, only 1 run scores. If IKF does his job, then no runs score. So like it kind of still goes back to the defense kind of blew this one. They just didn't really back up the pitching. But no, overall, Skenes, the stuff looked good. I thought what really impressed me today, just if we're kind of breaking him down, his changeup. Specifically against left-handed batters. I mean, he threw 10 changeups all to lefties, and they couldn't hit it. Like they couldn't really touch it.
no.
It generated 6 swings, 3 swings and misses. The one ball that did get put in play was 61 miles per hour. So that looked like a real weapon for him, and it was a pitch that, it was a pitch that was really good for him last year, but I don't know if he threw it that much. He looked a lot more comfortable with it today, as opposed to kind of how we've seen him use that pitch in the past. Because you look at last year here, and let's see, last year he threw his changeup 5% of the time. Today he threw it, roughly 11% of the time. So like he basically doubled his changeup usage today. I thought that was a really good sign. And if you're looking for something to look at and say, okay, how can Paul Skenes get better from where he was last year? That's one of them, because like that changeup it's a real equalizer, especially against left-handed batters. And he was able to use that today. He located it well, because when you're expecting 99 or a splinker at 96, and all of a sudden he hits you with this 90-mile-an-hour changeup. Like, you're just not ready for it. So, as far as what I saw from Skenes, that was the most impressive thing for me, is just how he attacked lefties using that changeup today.
I agree. He was very fastball heavy today. I just want to say, like, that two-seamer also looked filthy. I mean, also against lefties, paying the inside corner with that. I mean, he looked good. He looked good. Again, you want to see him be more efficient. It is just the first start of the year. Again, like, it is what it is. We have to find reasons to nitpick. It's Paul Skenes. He looked good today. Again, 2 earned runs on him. You could argue, obviously, if one should have been earned or not first, right, with the IKF situation here and whatnot. But Paul Skenes looked good. And Jim, he did everything he needed to do to get himself a win and this team a win. He said, I can't wait to be 1-0. He did his part. He certainly did. And actually, I mean, again, like, the offense looked bad, but it came through when needed. I mean, there were moments, and again, Sandy Alcantara looked good, but the Pirates found some opportunities. They did capitalize. Nick Gonzales did hit the home run, and they scored 4 runs there. They did enough. And again, we're talking about the Miami Marlins. That's the one thing, like, going into this. It's you saw that offense today.
Yeah.
Every time someone came up, you probably said, who? Right? So, once you got Alcantara out the game with the lead, even with his bullpen, you expected the W. Paul Skenes should have expected the W today. And they did everything in their power to lose it, and they did. But yes, again, cap it off Paul Skenes. He looked good.
Yeah, Skenes did enough today to win. Like, I mean, he outpitched a former Cy Young winner, and Alcantara also looked very good today. He was pounding the Pirates hitters inside with a lot of movement on those pitches. Like, they were getting tied up. It was an impressive pitching performance by both starting pitchers, I thought. I'm going to argue with you, and I'm not going to agree with you when you say that the offense came through. I mean, they were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Oneil Cruz had a rough day at the plate. He went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Joey Bart 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Those are your 3-4 hitters. And they came up multiple times throughout this game with opportunities to add to this lead or to take the lead late in the game, and they didn't do it. So I'm going to go ahead and push back on you a little bit there.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you said there. Like, again, like, the offense was bad, but it did come through. When I say that, they
Reynolds came through
4 runs.
Yeah, Brian Reynolds
and
came
Nick Gonzales
through.
had the home run.
Yeah, Brian Reynolds came through with the 2-run single, and then the Nick Gonzales homer, which we'll get to that too. But they had plenty of chances to not only increase this lead, but to like retake the lead after they blew it in the 8th, and they didn't come through. And what stinks about it is the guys who were there with the opportunity to do it were the guys that you want up to bat at that point in time. Like I said, that 8th inning or the 9th inning, I mean, when they had the chance to take the lead there, again, just didn't come through. Tommy Pham with a double, Brian Reynolds with a walk. Then they both steal. That was another thing too. Very aggressive on the base paths today. 7 steals, I believe. Is that right? 6 steals today.
I know 6 at one point.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steals today. Brian Hayes had 2 of them. They were aggressive on the base paths. They went 6 for 6. So, like, they did some of the little things really well on offense, but when it came to actually executing whenever they needed to, they failed. And it was mostly Cruz and Bart. And I mean, you can't sugarcoat it. Cruz and Bart, really bad games all around. Like, Cruz, awful game at the plate, awful game in center. Bart, bad game at the plate. The pass ball was bad. And then a bad game at the plate. So yeah, it stinks that that's how this season starts. Because, like, it's like, people are going to look at Bednar too as getting the loss, and, like, I mean, Bednar should have had 1 out with nobody on facing Xavier Edwards, and next thing you know, there's 1st and 3rd because he has to intentionally walk a guy, and he gives up the game-winning hit. So it's not the best day for Joey Bart or Oneil Cruz.
No, and you did bring this up and I do want to talk about a little bit. If there's some light in this game, something right to take away. This is what I wanted to highlight. If this is going to be a win, this team we talk about, like, it's starving for power. There's not that many people that hit the ball over the fence, and today did happen once with Nick Gonzales. But like, if this team is going to do something, stealing bases, getting aggressive, that's how they could potentially win. That's how they can somewhat make up for that. And you saw Cruz get on. He drew the walk early on. He stole second base. You mentioned they had 2 double steals today, which the Marlins kind of gave it to them, but hey, they took advantage and took it. But either way, and Brian Hayes had the one. He actually stole second, before the double steal afterwards. This team being aggressive on the bases like this is going to help them. This is something they do need. It's something I did want to see they're going to do. This is why I talk about Oneil Cruz, maybe potentially stealing 40 bases. I think it's something that this team possesses as far as skills, right? There's some speed on this team for sure. But I'm curious if like they're going to get ultra aggressive on the base pass. And you did see it today. So yeah, like kudos to that. They were 6 for 6 today in stolen bases. But yeah, like outside of that, that's really all you can say offensively. Again, I know they scored 4 runs. Again, kudos to that. They came through when they had opportunities against Alcantara in those situations. They didn't create many opportunities. That was a problem as well. But and yeah, like you get him out of the game, you get to the bullpen, and that's when you just gotta demolish this team. It's the Miami Marlins. It's this bullpen is not that good. You have to go and put your foot on the throats. End this. Capitalize, keep going. And they had opportunities to do so then still. And then that's when they did not. But again, to the bullpen, like Santana came in, just not finding the strike zone. Brucky came in, couldn't find the strike zone until he somewhat did. Like that's the other story too. Like, it wasn't all in the bullpen as well, but they weren't that efficient. They weren't throwing strikes. They were nibbling. They were honestly, I mean, I think Santana got lucky on a few strikes there, to be frank.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
Santana looked so good during the spring.
right.
You mentioned like how efficient he was, but couldn't find the strike zone today. I mean, he threw 50% strikes, 18 pitches, only 9 of them for strikes, 2 walks, and that was in a position like that was an opportunity where Dennis Santana could have came into the game and just shut things down. And then we're talking about probably a completely different game at this point, because at that point then it would be 4-1. You're heading into the 7th with a 3-run lead. You kind of shut down that little mini run the Marlins had, but instead they kind of gain a little bit of momentum. Barucki luckily gets out of that inning. I thought Caleb Ferguson looked good. Like out of all the bullpen arms, he was the only one who really looked good. Barucki, like you mentioned, got the big out, but he got the 3-0 first, and he got a gift call that should have been ball 4 that the umpire gave him strike 1 on, and he was able to battle back. But you'll get those, on 3-0 every once in a while. But yeah, I thought Ferguson looked good, but man, like you went into the season like Santana, Holderman, Bednar, you're going to need those 3, and you're going to need them to be good, and all 3 of them struggled today. I said Bednar, I give it a little bit of a pass to, but at the end of the day, I mean, I don't really think you can judge him on that. That ball wasn't even, I mean, it would have been a homer in 0 ballparks. It was a 99-mile-an-hour fly ball with an expected batting average of 390, which means he gets caught 60% of the time. Cruz just made a really bad play on it. So I'm blaming most of this loss on Cruz, Bart, and Holderman. Like those 3 guys, just bad days.
Totally agree. We like the talent of Oneil Cruz. We think it can translate. And we understand there's a learning curve. There's going to be moments, but you can't have these type of games. I mean, it's just unacceptable from Oneil Cruz, because to me, both of those weren't just like, I'm new to center field. I mean, that's just baseball IQ, like in general. Like that throw home, what are you doing? That triple that happened, right? Like, what are you doing there? Just go catch the ball. What are we doing? It's one thing to have a bad day at the plate, but you can't also have a bad day out in the field. And that's what he did. And Joey Bart also to a level, I think lesser than Oneil Cruz, unfortunately. But yeah, like also, like, what are you doing? Just you're a catcher, catch the baseball.
Yeah.
And like another thing, I wanted to highlight this. I know he recovered and made a great play, so nothing was hurt. But it's like Endy was the opening day first baseman today. He had how many reps in spring?
One game.
It kind of showed.
Yeah.
Right? It kind of showed. I mean, that one play as well. And again, I know he backed it up the next one. Hey, made a good play, and all things were okay afterwards. But you know, it's not that I'm passing blame on Endy, but it's just like these are just the small things in general that get irritable. You know, and it's like here we are, we have this hole at first base, and you decide to finally plug it the few days beforehand with a guy that you gave zero, like minimal reps to.
Yeah. And that was like, I mean, and this is something we've been talking about, like this roster construction, this defensive alignment, like it's not ideal. You have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa playing the spot where he's probably least valuable to your team. Your starting shortstop. You saw that make an impact today in a negative way. You saw Endy Rodriguez playing not his natural position, and you saw that make a negative impact. You saw Oneil Cruz playing a new position that made a negative impact. So it's just you've got all these guys playing in positions that they're not necessarily used to, and I still think moving Cruz to center field is the right call. Like I think the athleticism and the traits he has just they fit well there. He hasn't played much out there. He's been an infielder his entire life. You got to remember, like, this is his 29th game in center field. That's not giving him a pass by any means. So, like, don't think that I'm like giving Cruz a pass here.
Right.
But it's like they're asking these guys to do things that they haven't been doing that long. I mean, that's where we're at. And in order to maximize these guys' potential, they're going to have to learn real quick. Like Cruz is going to have to learn center field a little quicker because we just saw him practically lose a game today. I'm not putting all the blame on him. There are a few people to put the blame on, but like if Cruz plays center field like Michael A. Taylor plays center field, Pirates win today. If Isaiah Kiner-Falefa plays shortstop like jeez, we haven't had a shortstop in years. But let's say he plays shortstop like Jordy Mercer, right? The Pirates might win today.
Actually, Jordy Mercer is a very good comp. I mean, he didn't have much range, but with what he did well with what he could do well with.
So it's just these guys are going to have to like they're in the position that they are. This is the team, and again, I don't want to make this into like a long form podcast. This is a post game show, so. They didn't play their positions well today, and they're going to have to learn how to do it better quick.
Yeah. Agree. I don't want to keep going down this, and hammering the dead horse, but yes, like with Cruz, I just want to state the same thing. It's like there is going to be a learning curve. We understand that, but you can't do this. I mean, it's one thing to have that bad throw to home. You know what? Here's a learning opportunity. Shouldn't have happened, but here's a learning opportunity. The thing is, don't do it again, right? But that hit to center, I mean, the end of the game there, that's inexcusable. I think no matter what, you're a baseball player. Go get the baseball. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing there, and that's just the plays that you can't happen. That's inexcusable. And so it all happens on opening day. Great.
Yeah, and what hurts here is, and I mentioned this last week, right? Like no single game is important over the course of 162, right? Like there's a single game in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter all that much. But when single games like this that you should have won start stacking, then it starts making an impact. And I said the Pirates need to win the games that Paul Skenes starts.
You said
They need to
25.
win
They
a
need to find a way to
very
win 25
good
games.
majority because he's the best player on the field, and he was the best player on the field today, and he was matched up against a Cy Young winner. Paul Skenes was the best guy on the field today, and when he left the game, he put the Pirates in a position for them to win. The rest of the team didn't get the job done in winning that game. So now you're 0-1 and Paul Skenes starts. And like I said before, like you're going to have to win a lot of your Paul Skenes starts because there's going to be 130 games that he does not start this year. And you got to figure out a way to win at least half of those. But in order for that to work, you've got to also win a good chunk of your Paul Skenes starts. And I said, he did enough today to win. He put the team in the position to win. They failed in backing him up.
Right. Yep. Don't want to go complete overreaction. It is game one.
Game one.
You had a real opportunity to win a game that you should have won. And probably the one game the Marlins had the best chance in. Because again, like it is Alcantara, and he's a former Cy Young winner. And actually, I mean, I know he's coming off Tommy John, but he looked good in spring. He sure as hell looked good today. So you're going into Miami, face their best pitcher, and you have every opportunity to come out with that W. You need to take it. You need to get it, especially with a team like the Pirates. There's a lot of doubters. Again, this isn't a team that's favored to be in the playoffs. This is a team that's going to have to fight and claw and find ways and create opportunities to get into the playoffs. These are those moments where you have to do it if you want to be a playoff team. Yes, it's game one, right? Like you said, you can't stack it, but stuff like this is inexcusable. It's just bad baseball. It's just a bad brand of baseball that was playing today. So,
yep.
Either way,
on both a positive and negative note, let's talk about Nick Gonzales, the home run.
Yeah,
that was cool. It was a big homer too. Like, I mean, the Pirates were up 2-1 at that point. It was the 6th inning, and he just yanks one over the left field wall to make that lead 4-1. But in like the most Pirates fashion, he hits a home run, and while he's in his home run trot, apparently he like twists his ankle or something. He was immediately taken out after his home run with an ankle injury. Like, what is it with this team and hitting homers? Like, at least I guess he hit all the bases this time, right? Like, he didn't miss a bag, but you hit a homer and then you get immediately pulled from the game with an ankle injury. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
I don't know. But it was like you said, it was like he was rounding first base when it happened. There's just something with the Pirates. First base. Just
that first
I don't know
base
how,
bag.
You can't avoid it. You can't avoid first base no matter what you're doing in this game. But it's the biggest battle in Pirates history. The Pirates in first base. So I don't know. We'll find out what's going to happen with him, but yeah, he was taken out of the game hitting a home run. That's not good.
Yeah, the official word from the team was taken out of the game, right ankle injury. He's day to day.
Yeah.
Like, you can't make this stuff up. He homered and then he got hurt rounding the bases during his trot.
Yeah. Matt P. So if you're unsure, yes, he heard it when he homered. He heard it after he homered. Like, again, like he homered, he was fine. He started trotting and then he heard it. I'm not even exactly sure where or how. Like, you watch it, like nothing. It's not like he made a tweak, he turned wrong. Like it just started hurting. It just started hobbling. And coming from a guy who's had plenty of ankle sprains and very bad ankles, I get it. And that's what it was. It was just that moment where I got bad ankles. That's all I can say. I don't know if he does, but that's what that was. That was like, hey, I have very bad ankles. And it's gone. Any route.
Yeah.
It was a big moment, though, too. It was a big moment.
It was a huge moment.
4 runs there. That home run. I mean, Joey Bart walks. He hits the home run, and you're thinking, again, boom, this is it. This is all the Pirates need. They have the lead. They're going to win this.
Yeah.
They did not.
I do want to also, before we head out here, Brian Hayes, first hit of the game, steals second, steals third. He looked good today, and defensively, made a really nice play, kind of hugging the third baseline on a ground ball. And then again, I can't stress enough how great that play was he made on that ball that IKF fielded in the hole and one hopped to Hayes. Hayes is like backpedaling to third to cover the bag, catches the short hop and finds the bag simultaneously. Like that had disaster written all over it, but luckily you've got the best fielder in Major League Baseball over there, and he was able to clean things up. So I want to give Hayes some credit because like the rest of the team looked bad today, but Cabrian Hayes at third base, shout out to him. He looked good. He looked healthy. He looked good. He was moving. He made great plays. He saved the game there in that 8th inning, I thought.
I agree. Cabrian probably looked outside of Skenes. He was the second best player today. He just pretty much did everything okay-ish, right? Good. Nothing was bad. Everyone else had a bad moment.
Hey, he had 2 stolen bases. He was really good defensively. He's on pace, DiNardo, for 300.
Here it is.
And 24 stolen bases this year. So, I mean, he might be back.
Well, there's at least one. There's one rolling on the.
I had to throw one in there, right? Yeah.
So if you took the over of 1,
yeah.
I'm sorry, took over 0.5, you hit it.
Just making sure I did my math right too.
Well, Jim, are we out of here?
Yeah. Tomorrow, Mitch Keller versus Connor Gillespie.
Also,
that game.
Who?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Whatever that is. He has 3 career games, all out of the bullpen. Yeah, I think that's about right. So yeah, Connor Gillespie, he was a Cleveland Guardian last year for 3 games. So he is starting for the Marlins. That game is at 7:10 p.m. So hopefully it goes a little bit better than today's game, and we'll have sandwiches to give away. Also, Tyler and I recorded a show this morning with catching coach Jordan Comedina. And it was really, really good conversation that we had with him. We talked about Endy making the team. We talked about Henry Davis. And we talked about just kind of like the daily routine of what goes into like a day in the life of a major league catcher. So that'll come out tomorrow too, early in the day. So make sure you check that out. Just a really good conversation we had with Funky.
Yeah, good stuff. I'm excited for that show. You two were on it. Probably do that every so often, at least probably once a month with Jordan. Some good conversation. So good stuff. Yeah, that'll be out tomorrow on YouTube and podcast, of course. We got some really cool news. Yeah, we got a lot of cool news. Next one is currently right now. It is live. I teased it. Currently right now, our merch drop is live. It is live. So if you do go here, northshore9.myshopify.com, you can go ahead and get all of your NS9 merch, 72 hours. So it's open for 3 days, and that's it. It's shut down. So here's your opportunity to get this NS9 merch in this drop. Go ahead and click on that. Get your cool NS9 gear. And you know what, Jim? That's not all. It's not all. Are you familiar with Starbucks?
Are we announcing anything right now?
I'm just announcing that.
Okay.
It's no longer going to be Starbucks on Monday. So tune in.
Little teaser.
Starbucks is no mo.
Yeah.
So tune in on Sunday, 7:00. We'll be back with another show, not named Starbucks.
Monday.
Did I say Tuesday?
You said Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah. Monday morning.
Show up on Sunday at 7 a.m. as well.
It's the same show as we were having. It's just a different name. So, and yeah, maybe something else too. But no, that's yeah, good stuff.
Actually, that's no, Matt. The lawsuit has not landed.
Yeah. But no, rough opening day for the Buccos. So no Primanti sandwiches today. Let's hope that we turn it around, win tomorrow. because I want to give you guys some sandwiches. So let's give away some sandwiches tomorrow.
That's it.
Yep.
We will be back tomorrow. See you guys later. That it, Jim.
That's it. See you guys.
We out. Bye-bye.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.